Good evening, class. Welcome to Horror 101. Once again, I am your teacher for this evening, Professor Macabro. And tonight, I will open another section in the dark, deep corners of the vault to share with you another example of fear and horror, while also keeping it fun. Even if you are in the face of danger, you must never give in to terror and fear. You can always confront it with a smile. And tonight's showing will show you the terror of an immortal being that feeds on blood. Blah. The blood is life, said a famous count. This is not your romantic vampire. This isn't your Count Dracula or your Interview with the Vampire. This is an example of scary ass vampires. They give you 30 days of night, inspired by a comic book, because all good things nowadays are inspired by comic books. In this one, there is a town deep up in the north, where night lasts 30 days. Hence the name. And it is the perfect opportunity for a race of primal, almost barbaric vampires to have themselves a buffet for 30 days. They cut off all communications, they destroy all cell phones, they even, and that's the one thing that I don't agree with, they even kill dogs, so they have no way of sledding themselves to safety. So in the deep, dark corners, where there's a terrible, terrible ice storm, these vampires go to town, literally, and they start devouring people. They drink their blood and promptly get rid of the bodies so as to not turn more vampires. This clan of vampires is not romantic. They're not suave. They don't hypnotize people to come with them. No. These vampires go, literally, straight for the jugular to drain you of your blood. Granted, they're not being so forward thinkers. They start eating their prey a lot faster than they should. They have 30 days after all. They have to plan themselves, but as in the case of most monsters, thinking ahead is not their strong point. So, you follow these casts of survivors, trying to outsmart these primal vampires, hiding in places for days on end as they hear the screams of their friends and their co-workers and their family in the distance. These vampires are truly, truly terrifying. The special effects and blood in this movie is impressive. Gallons of blood. And these people have to take really, really, really extreme measures to survive. Especially when, as they are bitten, the vampire virus starts turning some of them. By far the most disturbing scene is when they encounter a girl vampire. A girl that somehow survived, was bitten, and turned. But these vampires also have some degrees of smarts, as they do leave some survivors as bait to call off the rest of the survivors for assistance. Doesn't quite work out that well for them. Finally, in a desperate act of desperation, one of them, the leader, decides if you can't fight them, join them, and then fight them. So he takes a sample of blood, injects it into himself, and he starts to become a vampire. Finally having the strength to go toe-to-toe with the vampire leader. Now, granted, in vampire lore, a vampire that has had a long life usually develops greater strength, greater power. But there's nothing stronger than love. And that's the reason why the leader became a vampire, to save his estranged girlfriend. So, he's able to defeat the vampire leader, save his girlfriend in a very, very tragic way, decides to go with her to see the morning sun. Because the 30 days are up, the sun will come back on, and that's when he disintegrates into ashes, saving her and preferring to die a man and to live as one of those creatures. Very downer ending, but a very enjoyable movie. The special effects are amazing. They don't have that CGI that is prevalent nowadays. Everything has CGI going as far as showing CGI blood, which defeats the purpose. This is practical blood. The gore effects are impressive, and they do have some very nice practical effects. Near the end, where they chop someone's head off, very, very cool. Definitely, this movie